Okay, let's talk about junk removal. When I got into the junk removal business, it wasn't because I was excited about it. I actually got in the junk removal business a long time before I really got into the junk removal business. What I got into was a mess. And that mess that I created, I was trying to create wealth through owning real estate. And the market made a very strong correction, and I had myself too far leveraged. So basically, I went from multi-millionaire to, I made 10 grand the next year. So it was quite a change. Went through some depression, went through some frustration, some aggravation, so on and so forth. So I started to do this junk removal things just to survive. And then lo and behold, I started to see little patterns. And then I started using my brain, and I started saying, well, geez, if I'm going to do junk removals, I'm going to do them in really rich neighborhoods, and I'll do them for really good prices. And then I will compete with the other guys, and then I'm going to ask them what they got. I'm not going to go pick up trash. I'm not going to go pick up yard debris. I'm not going to go pick up landscaping stuff. I'm not going to pick up construction debris. Now, I will pick it up, but I'm going to pick it up for a premium because I'm not going to do that work unless I'm going to make money. I want to make money coming. I want to make money going. What I mean by that is we go and we do. I'll give you an example. There was a guy who called me up, and he had 1-800-JUNK had bid out this job. It's been a long time ago. I think it was like for $1,700 or $1,500. Well, he told me what he had, and he said, let me send you some pictures of it. I think he could tell that I was entrepreneuric a little bit. He was a very wealthy guy. I said, no problem, let's do that. So he sends me some pictures. So I call him back and said, I'll do it for $300. He said, I didn't even tell you how much stuff there was. I said, I don't care. He says, well, what are you going to do with this stuff? I said, well, I'm going to sell it. He said, cool. He says, I'm glad you're being honest with me. He says, honestly, I don't have the time, or I'd sell it myself. I don't have the room. I don't have the time. I'm moving out of a 10,000 square foot house into this 2,500 square foot condo in Naples, and I don't want to throw this stuff away. So he says, you're going to come multiple times. I'm going to give you a certain amount, and then I'll give you a certain amount, and so on and so forth. And we worked out a deal. The first truckload of that, now it took months to sell it, but it was about $5,000 worth of stuff. Some of that stuff I put it on eBay, and it was worth $3,000 to $1,000, and it was pretty amazing stuff. Now, for him, why would he do that? He's out of space. We're in Florida. There's no space. To go rent a storage unit somewhere close to the coast, it's expensive. And it's so expensive that within a year to 2 years, everything you have in there is worth less than what it costs you to store it. So some people are real smart about that. The other people, they have time. They're not going to have a yard sale. They're not going to spend the time to put ads on Craigslist. They're not going to spend the time to put stuff on Facebook Marketplace. And they're not going to spend the time away from what they love and want to do to go meet somebody 3 or 4 or 5 times before you sell something. So there's a place and a time for all of this. So what that does is it creates a huge opportunity for you. So between Corplast signs, our trucks, and just advertising on Craigslist, because I didn't know anything about Facebook Marketplace for the longest time, it was around for about 5 years before I actually started using it, and it is very powerful. There's no doubt about it. Now there's going to be every kind of different thing in the world come. OfferUp. There were other websites doing stuff like this. OfferUp, everybody wants everything for nothing. You don't want to do that. So what I like about Craigslist versus Facebook Marketplace is Craigslist, you can actually put together a QR code that has everything that you have online, and it makes it easy for people to buy multiple items, and it also keeps it kind of organized for you, and you don't have to maintain your own website, which is, every minute counts. So yes, can you put together and manage a website? Yes, it's going to take a lot of time. Time is money. So do you want to do that? I don't recommend it, but I don't say that there's anything wrong with it. So what I'm trying to say is the junk removal business, let's say you go in, I'll give you an exaggerated and this isn't exaggerated as far as I'm exaggerating, but kind of show you the magnitude of this. You get a call, and let's say it's a hoarder house, or let's say it's just somebody's house in the state, and they've already went through it and they got rid of everything that anybody could want and that they were willing to spend the time on. Okay, so what you do is you go in and you say, okay, they say, well, I'll do the job for, did you get any other bids? Well, I got a bid for $2,000. Okay, well, I'll do it for $1,500, or I'll do it for $500. I said, but I'm gonna take a couple extra days to do this, or maybe you won't, because if you have a lot of space, it's no problem. But if you don't, what you do is you go through and you load it up properly. You throw it up. You load up all the good stuff first. You put it on your truck and you get it out of there, because as you get rid of the garbage, the good stuff's going to shine more, and then they're going to grab it. When you're doing a junk removal or a demolition, everybody thinks everything's up for grabs. Well, what you got to do is when you get stuff that's worth money, get it on the truck. Get it out of sight, and you already made a deal, and the deal came with the good, the bad, and the ugly. So put the good stuff on the truck. So what you do, you get the good stuff out, then you get the stuff you want to donate because you don't want to spend the money to dump it, and it's good stuff, so environmentally you're doing a really good thing. Then you take all the trash and you put it together and you take it to the dump. So you do it that way. Now let's say that there's 5 things in this estate that are worth $400. Let's say that there are, when I say $400, a couch set, dining room set that's really nice, the bedroom set, those kind of things, and you're selling them for cheap. You're selling something that's worth $1,000 for $400. Living room set, there are, the family room set, stuff like that. Okay, so then let's say you have like 10 items that are worth $200, and 15 items that are worth $100, and then 100 items that are worth $50, and then 300 items that are worth $20, and then you have 300 more items that are worth $10, and then you have 500 items that are worth, in a yard sale situation, anywhere from $2 all the way up to $10, depending on what you want to do. Now me, I don't do all the little stuff. I don't want to work myself silly. I did do a lot of that. So what I would do when we were early on is I took all that really nice stuff, that cheaper stuff that was in good condition, and I put it into boxes and I stacked them in the corner until I had a mountain in a garage. When I got to that point, then I would have a yard sale. I put yard sale signs everywhere, put it on Craigslist, put on Facebook Marketplace, so on and so forth. And I would go to my 2 neighbors and I'd say, I'll give you $100 to use your front yard, I'll give you $100 for your front yard, and you guys can have some of this stuff. So I did that. I had yard sales where I made $1,500 in a day, $2,600 in a day. My rule is if they pick it up, they're walking away with it. So I'm going to get as much money as I can. I'd say, hey, I want this much. They'd say, well, I'll only give you this much. Then I go back at half of that. That's all I did. And I would do it, and I would have fun with it. So the junk removal business got us ahead so fast. Then you're going to have these, let's say it's 1 in 20 jobs. About every 1 in 20 of the jobs you do, you go in and you get something extraordinary. You get something that's really big, really hard to get out, and so on and so forth, but it's worth money. I have sold campers. I've sold hundreds of trailers, and I normally have to do little small repairs on trailers, and trailers are really easy to fix. I've sold thousands of couches, thousands of mattresses. I have sold thousands of kitchen cabinet sets. I've sold thousands of kitchen cabinet dining room sets. I've been doing this for a long time. It works. The beautiful thing is if you go start a store, let's say you're going to start a dollar store. Well, guess what? You got to go buy all that inventory. Let's say it's $500,000 worth of inventory. Well, you got to go buy it. Well, guess what you do when you're doing this? You're making sales every day, so you're able to survive. You're getting an inventory you're putting together. After a while, you're going to have 500 or 1,000 things up for sale, depending on what you want to do. Right now, I probably have somewhere in the neighborhood of, I'm going to say 3,000 things for sale. Between being on eBay, all the stuff I have at the shop, and so on and so forth, I probably have anywhere from $200,000 to $500,000 worth of inventory that I don't owe a dime on. Now think about that. I don't owe anything on any of this. So somebody offers me $10 for something that's worth $20, I could do it. What if they offer me $2,000 for something that's worth $4,000? I don't know. If I need the money, I'll do it, and if I don't, I won't. So that's where you go. That's where you get with this, and it is freaking amazing. And we started with junk removal, and then we started hearing people ask for, who do you know that takes out kitchens? Who do you know that takes out baths? Who do you know that takes out flooring? Who do you know that takes out walls? Who do you know that cuts concrete? All them things, because what they're doing typically a lot of times is they're getting stuff out of the house that they either sold or they're going to renovate, and they need things done to it, and they don't want to do it, and they got the money, and they don't want to deal with doing that. So that's where you come into play, and you say, hey, I'll do it for this amount, and then what you do with the stuff is up to you. Now me, if it's a really nice kitchen cabinet set, I acknowledge that to them and say, this is really nice. I'll give you $500 off of the bill here for that, and I'll give you another $500 off for all this furniture, and I'll give you another $500 off for all the appliances, and or sometimes we give them $5,000. Depends on what it is, and then it takes me time to sell it. So we have a system where we show up to the shop, unload it, clean it, put it on Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace, and then I have somebody there that sits as a salesperson. Now we're doing $1 million a year. Okay, so $1 million a year with no cost of inventory. There is expense in the employees, so we're at a whole different scale. But we all started out with just me doing it. I was doing the junk removals, and I was selling stuff. Most people want to meet in the evenings, so I do the junk removals during the day, and then I go meet them. And a lot of times, if they want to meet during the day, whatever, I'll go do a junk removal, go meet them, and then go off and do another junk removal. So if you get really efficient and you use the rigs that we're using, you're able to sort your trash out as you go, and you only bring back the nice stuff to your house, so you can stop by the dump off what you got, and keep rolling. And you can get a lot of stuff. I mean, you can get an amazing amount of stuff. So if you're getting an amazing amount of good stuff, well, you fill your trailer up, your dump trailer up, you fill up your box truck, you get it home. Keep a tarp with you in case it rains, so on and so forth. So at any rate, that's junk removal to me. Okay, so my name's Dave Lockwood. We have a channel called Remove It Pros Demolition. This channel is called Remove It Pros Junk Removal. We also have another channel that's called Remove It Pros Demo Pure Entrepreneur, which teaches you the mindsets that we use to do all this stuff. But at any rate, Remove It Pros Demolition, Dave Lockwood, and I'll see you on the next video.